So good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight for RISD Middle School's Back to School Night presentation for 8th grade. We have worked hard to make this session informative and hope it also gives you an indication of some of the great work your students are doing and will engage in throughout the coming year. As we begin, I want to mention that perhaps the most important message you should hear tonight is that we love our students, we are here to serve them, and that if you ever have any questions or would like more information, please reach out to us. We truly want to be a school community that partners with you in the education of your students. And we had Alma on an earlier session as our Spanish interpreter, and it got a little bit complicated, and so we're not going to have her do the full interpretation for the rest of the meeting, but I did want to give her a chance to just mention out to any Spanish-speaking families that if you have any questions and want to get any follow-up information from us, to please give us a call. You can speak with Carmen Guerrero here in our main office. We also have other Spanish speakers here on campus, but I was going to let Alma kind of say that in Spanish. Yeah, Miss Welchman is waving because she's another Spanish speaker. But Alma, if you want to just give that general message, and then again, I think you wrote it down last time, Miss Guerrero's phone number, so let me know if you...
And I have a slide I'll put up.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Buenas noches, soy Alma Topete, estoy hablando de parte de Mr. Cooper. Hace rato tuvimos una, interpreté de manera simultánea durante el Zoom, en la reunión de Zoom de los alumnos de sexto año. Tuvimos problemas técnicos, por consiguiente, el maestro les está pidiendo una disculpa por esto. No van a tener una interpretación simultánea en este momento. Lo que va a hacer es que si ustedes tienen alguna duda, pueden comunicarse con Carmen Guerrero a las oficinas de la escuela, al teléfono 425-204-2740, y van a poder recibir apoyo por parte de ella o de otras personas que hablan español dentro de la escuela. Y eso es todo, y los dejo con Mr. Cooper nuevamente. Okay, Mr. Cooper.
Okay, thank you so much. So I want to just mention that we pride ourselves at RISD with being an active, vibrant community where students are encouraged to grow as curious, capable, courageous, compassionate learners. We strive to engage students in learning experiences that stretch their thinking and support their growth. And so I just want to really encourage you to reach out and connect with your students' 8th grade teachers throughout this year. Reach out and ask questions, get to know each other, and I hope everyone has just a wonderful year. So having said that, I now want to have the rest of my administrative team introduce themselves, and I believe Dr. Love is probably still finishing up with the 7th grade group of parents. So let's go ahead and start with Mr. Henley.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kevin Henley, and I'm the Dean of Students at RISD Middle School. Because I'm the Dean of Students, I work with all students, regardless of grade, 6th, 7th, or 8th. However, specifically, I work mainly administratively with the 6th grade class, and I will be following them 6th, 7th, and then on into 8th grade. I have a student in the 6th grade, and so I'm looking forward to learning things like you as parents, as well as doing things from this administrative point of view. So, hi, everybody. Just wanted to match a face to a name.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Miss James.
I thought you were.
That's okay.
It's what time of night? It's not that late, but it feels later than it is. I'm Miss James. I am one of the assistant principals here at RISD, and I have been working with this current class of 8th graders. This will be our 3rd year. While we're not quite together, I'm so excited for them, and I hope that we can have them back in the building soon, because we truly, truly miss them, and they've all grown so much from when they were 6th graders.
Okay, so again, thank you all so much for being here with us tonight. We are recording this session, so we will post a link to this video. If you know of any families that weren't able to attend tonight, I'm going to share that out in my weekly email coming up as well, of course, but just a piece of information for you to pass to friends and neighbors if they missed tonight and want to watch this at a later time. So with that, I'm going to hand it off to Ms. James to take you through the next part of our presentation, and then we'll go on with some information from our librarian and teachers and just kind of go from there. Everybody have a great time. Thanks.
All right. Just a very quick Zoom tip, if you would like, you can select speaker view in the upper right of your screen, and it'll just show the person who's speaking. You can leave it on gallery view or whatever, but our counselors for 6th grade is Andrea Leywalder, and Miss Sophia Simpson-Verger is our 7th grade counselor, and then Maggie Kellogg. Can you please introduce yourself? It's our 8th grade counselor.
Hi there. I miss your 8th graders. I cannot wait for all of us to be together again, but this will do in the meantime.
Thank you, Maggie. And you've met Mr. Henley, our Dean of Students, who also works with our 6th grade students. Dr. Love is still in our 7th grade back to school meeting, and I work with 8th graders. And then Miss Smith, Leanna, can you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, I'm the school nurse. I'm lucky enough to get to work with all the kids, and I so miss your 8th graders. Looking forward to seeing them back again.
And then last but not least, I'd like to introduce President Kenneth Mills. He is a president of our PTA, and he and our mighty but small PTA have done wonderful things for Risdon. Mr. Mills?
Hi,
Oh, sorry, President Mills.
Yes, I'm Kenneth, and I've been the president. This is our 2nd year. So if you're interested in the PTA, please let us know. I believe Craig will post something in the comments so you can click on it if you want to be a member. But thank you, Ms. James.
Yeah. Every member helps. All the ideas help. They've been a great support. They're already preparing an online version of our annual book fair. They work to create grants for our teachers to support some of the work in the classroom. And the next time you buy the building, check out the paving stones by our flagpole. They've got lots of fun and also some very heartwarming statements about Risdon and all the families and students that have kind of come through here. So it's kind of a fun thing to check out if you've never seen it before.
Thank you, Ms. James.
You're welcome. So what should you be getting out of back to school night? Hopefully you're going to learn the best ways you can communicate with your students' teachers. We're going to share a little bit more about online learning, talk a little bit about asynchronous time. However, it's not a time to discuss specific student concerns. I would recommend that you contact the teachers directly if you have some specific questions or concerns about students. Something that we hear, and education has a lot of acronyms and different terms. Synchronous, asynchronous is something that we talk about a lot, and your student might actually use the words. Synchronous learning is when they're learning live. It's a Zoom lesson. The teacher's right there for them. Asynchronous is at the end of maybe the live lesson, the teacher says, okay, and here's the assignment. Sometimes the teacher might stay on Zoom, or they might say, contact me by email if you have questions. So that doesn't mean that the student still isn't working on the assignment, but it's the time for them to do their independent practice of whatever the skill or task was. It's not good for our kids to be on Zoom for 6 hours a day. It's hard to function that way. It's hard for adults to function that way. So part of the learning is handing it off for them for independent practice. Know, however, that if they need help, all they need to do is email their teacher, and they can either ask just to chat via email, or they can also ask the teacher to meet them in Zoom. And I'll share a little bit about different times that they can do that in a bit. But there's lots of options. We are here to help your students at a variety of times of day during the school day. A quick word about student schedules. Because we were remote last spring, there was a little bit of added complexity, especially because there was a time in the summer where we were kind of hoping and planning we were going to come back, and then maybe we were going to come back hybrid, and then we didn't come back. So because of that, we're still continuing to do what's called balancing classes. The computer kind of sorts everybody, and then sometimes there's 40 people in one class and 20, and we try and balance that so that's an even number for the teacher. So we're going to continue to work on that, which means there might be a few students that have a little bit of a schedule change. We try and keep that to a minimum, because as people get started in classes, they make connections with classmates, with their teachers. So we only change that if it's something that we need to change. This is our daily bail schedule, and we've sent a different version home. We're happy to send this one to you if you'd like this one. The version we sent home had a place for your student to write in all of the different class periods and their teachers for each period of the day. And it had all the emails and teachers for every single teacher here in the building, the administrators, the counselors. So if you want that resource, please don't hesitate to reach out. Anybody in the main office or the admin team can send that to you. What I want to point out on this schedule, I like color coding. The pink times that you see at the start of the day, it says homeroom, Tuesdays and individual support on the Monday through Thursday portion of the schedule. And then on the Friday portion of the schedule, you can see those pink times at 1 in the afternoon, and then Monday through Friday, 2:30 to 3. Those are additional times outside the class periods that teachers are available to support your student or to answer your questions. You can also schedule a meeting with the teacher if you have a question or trying to figure out how you can best support your student. So know that those pink times are the times that outside the class period that teachers are very readily available. The rest of the time, like I said, sometimes they're in a class during the class period. Sometimes it'll be the class period, but they're not in an active Zoom class. And that's what we mean when you hear us talk about synchronous and asynchronous. Most of the 8th graders are probably familiar with standards-based grading. This is a method that's also now used in our elementary schools. And the intent is that we have very specific standards for all of the different aspects of math and language arts. And teachers know the standards very well, and they know that by the second month of school, a student should be at a certain point with the standard. And if they are at that grade level, right where they should be, they'll earn a 3 on their report card or on that assignment. If they're working above grade level, they're going to get a 4. If they're approaching standard, it might be a 2, and sometimes there's decimals that are involved. But that's the general big picture of standards-based grading. There are 3 main parts: academic grades, effort score, and community skills. The academic grade, you can see the long list of things that might involve, but that's very much directly tied to the student showing what they know in their work. Knowing that as they progress through the year, the bar kind of keeps going up with their learning. Otherwise, it would be, a high bar, and at the beginning of the year, they wouldn't be earning anything, other than a 1 or a 2, because they're not quite at grade level yet. The effort score and community skills are meant to capture what we call soft skills, but they're very important skills. It's the habits of completing homework, completing classwork, turning those in on time. It's the community building skills where they relate well with others, they respect others in class, and they contribute to the learning of the class. Those are all things that we need to do in this day and age. And it's tougher online, but it's still something that we very much value. There's additional information online on the website under the Families tab for standards-based grading if you'd like to learn a little bit more about it. Online learning, the big picture, students need to log into Canvas, which is a learning management system, every day for every course. There'll be a little square tile with a teacher's name or the course on that. And the teachers will talk about whether it's going to be that live Zoom day or a non-Zoom day, and they usually have that information on their Canvas page. If your student or you are not quite sure, is this a Zoom day or not, remember that you can always reach out to the teacher and they're happy to help you with that. They should be following a daily regular schedule. If we can help kids keep to a regular schedule, they function better within the school day. It was something hard last spring that things kind of gradually unfolded and the schedule was changing a little bit, but now we're on a 6-period day, Monday through Friday, fairly regular schedule. So what should you do to help support your student? Check your students' grades and attendance. I know that now that we're in about the 3rd week of school, teachers are starting to post assignments. They'll be starting to reach out if your student has not been completing or turning in assignments, and we want to just see how we can support them. Is there something that they're not understanding? Is there a technology barrier? Those are all the things that we've been working through the first part of school. It's great if you can be involved. You heard from President Mills about the PTA. It's a really fun group of people as well. Once we're back in the building, we would hope that you would join in with PTA or be a volunteer. Something that we're very much missing would be our first fall dance, which is usually toward the end of October. The PTA helps us a lot with that. Another thing that you can do to support your student is, even though they're at home when they're in school, it's still good if you can supervise and check in on them, be aware of who their friends are and what kind of social media they're interacting with. Middle schoolers have incredible energy and passion and excitement, and sometimes that all moves forward before the thinking about, well, maybe I shouldn't post this online. So if you haven't had that conversation with your student, have those conversations about what you should put online and what shouldn't be online, because we want them to be safe, we want them to connect with friends, and we don't want anybody to put something out there that they regret, that it causes another person to be hurt. Some challenges. Sometimes middle schoolers will make mistakes. This is part of their learning process. And if that's the case, I'm still a middle schooler because I still make mistakes and I still learn from that too. But it's a process, so it's going to happen. There's a whole lot of brain development going on between 6th grade and 9th grade, and that's the middle school years. And they're going to be up one day and down the next, and then up one day and down the next. So if you don't like roller coasters, it's going to be a little bumpier, but if you hang in with your kid, it'll be good. I've already talked a little bit about asynchronous time, so it's good to know your student's schedule. Check to make sure that your student is engaging in the work. You can ask them to show you what they've been working on, and you can also email the teachers. And I think this has already been dropped in the chat, but there is a form if you have questions for specific teachers. It's really quick and easy to fill that out, and we'll get that information to teachers and they can get back to you. We don't have a lot right now with after-school programming. Obviously, athletics are tabled for right now due to health reasons, but our drama program is up and going. They're hoping to perform a play online in a webinar format later this year, so that's going to be quite exciting. Our ASB Activities Director, Lachlan Willis, is going to be getting student government up and running soon, so we'll have students running for office, so look for that information. And then we're hoping to get a few more online clubs going, so it would still be after school like we have had clubs in the past. And we're hoping that that'll be a great way for kids to socialize and get to know other kids. All right. We're going to meet the 8th grade teacher team at this point. And I would first like to introduce Miss Mary Beth Kerspahich, who is our master librarian. Mary Beth?
Thank you, Ms. James. Yes, I am the librarian. I am thrilled to be back here at Risdon again this year. I am excited to announce that we will be doing library checkout. The first day of pickup for library checkout will be next week. So stay tuned for some information on specifics about how your students are going to go about doing that coming home from school this week. Thank you very much. It'll be great to see everybody.
Awesome. Thank you, Mary Beth. And Principal Cooper has been sending out information on a regular basis in his parent newsletter about what we call materials distribution. It's any of those materials that we're trying to get to your students at home and the hours and times for pickup, as well as materials that maybe you still have some library books. I think we still had about 500 library books that were maybe sitting underneath a bed at home. So if you can check with your student, it would be great to get those books out so others can check them out. So stay tuned. Ms. Kerspahich does a great job with the library. Next up is our 8th grade social studies team. Mr. Bodle, Ms. Willis, Ms. Welchman.
Hi, I'm Jamie Bodle, Ms. Bodle, and I teach social studies and social studies honors.
I'm Lachlan Willis. Good evening, Risdon families. I teach the 8th grade social studies and leadership.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Nissa Welchman, and I teach honors social studies new this year and Spanish again.
We wanted to let you know what the main focus is of the class this year. We are focusing on early American history. There's some information there on the slide about how grades and all those things are going to be focused, but the big thing is that we're a project-based learning class, which means that everything that we're doing is going to be using skills and content to do some kind of, create some kind of project that we hope to be able to share not only with their classmates, but also with the RISD community as a whole. We also are trying something new this year where we're helping hone those skills on a subject that the students are interested in. So if your student is watching a skateboarding video and taking notes, it could be for social studies. Or looking up aliens because that's something they're interested, it could be for social studies. So the same nonfiction reading and writing skills will be used on their own interest-driven research, as well as the American history stuff.
So we're just really working on those researcher skills to get them really familiar and show that those skills apply across content areas.
That sounds really cool. I want to be in social studies. Thank you very much, team. I appreciate all that. That was great information.
Thank you.
So
I'm on with Ms. James, if you want to introduce me.
oh, yes, thank you. Just a second. Let me stop sharing for just a moment. Thank you, Dr. Love.
Sure.
Dr. Love, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself really briefly?
Hi, guys. I'm 7th grade admin, second year with our 7th graders. I was just at our 7th grade meeting, kind of took long. Parents had lots of questions, so I was glad to finish up with them and join you guys. So welcome to Back to School Night.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Love. Ms. Christine Olson is our English language learners teacher. She was not able to join us for the 8th grade presentation, but she does a fabulous job supporting all of our students that are sometimes just a couple months as newcomers to the United States. And they're learning not only the content, but they're learning the language at the same time. And she tries to get them as quickly as possible up to speed with English. So she wasn't able to join us, but please feel free to contact her if you have any questions about your student that served in the ELL program. Our language arts department is next. Take it away.
Hi, I'm Sarah Sawyer, and before we introduce the rest of the team, we just wanted to go over what kind of our philosophy is in our RISD Language Arts department. So in our department, we believe in helping students find stories that provide them windows and mirrors into the world, and also striving to help students become more powerful writers and communicators through narrative writing, informational and argumentative texts and writing. Okay, next slide, please.
Okay, so.
So we're just going to introduce ourselves. Hello, my name is Ryan Storer. Your student schedule might say Reagan on it. I was married late into the summer, and so I haven't changed my name on all official documents yet. But I am here on the 8th grade team, teach 8th grade language arts and 8th grade honors language arts.
And again, I'm Ms. Sawyer, and I teach 8th grade language arts and honors language arts. And it's my 9th year teaching in the district with my lovely teammates.
And hi there, I'm Teresa Hundelt, and I'm happy to see everybody tonight. Thank you for being here.
I feel like I need to wave.
Okay, so I'll just briefly go over kind of our teaching points throughout our school year. We start our year off with students, and we're actually writing personal narratives. So they're going to find a small moment that is meaningful and write long about it. They're going to start developing their voice as writers and including dialogue and description. Then we're going to move into just how like good stories are crafted, and they're going to write some and also read and see how conflict and theme are developed within stories. Unit 2 is all about bringing things from speculation to reality. So we actually look at science fiction and fantasy texts and analyze what the authors were maybe critiquing or celebrating or pointing out about the world. And then we move into informational research based writing, reading, and then they actually move into argumentative writing. They pick a side on a topic and write about that. Unit 3, we study historical fiction book clubs. So we are looking at how different times of our past are illuminated through literature and how that is oftentimes emphasizing a conflict. Students will write a literary analysis essay based on the books that they read. And then we end our year in Unit 4, which is all about using book clubs to examine the empowerment and disempowerment of different groups in America. And this is where students really start to see how authors make suggestions about the world around them by writing stories about characters that are dealing with kind of some tough issues. And students then pick something that they feel strongly about and write a open letter or a call to action speech.
So overall goals that we have for your student, if we could go back real quick, is building an authentic reading life. So reading that is meaningful and relevant and useful to the students, developing a voice as a writer, developing empathy and understanding for others, critically thinking about our society's systems and how we can impact them. So essentially hoping that students find joy in reading and writing and become engaged and active thinkers and citizens.
Okay, just some kind of frequently asked questions we get in language arts. For missing assignments, we've been getting lots of emails from kids saying, hey, I did my missing assignments, and that is great. So if a student does do a missing assignment or a late assignment, they should email us, and all of our old assignments, if they're absent or whatever, are available on Canvas. We run everything through Canvas. And then the expectations around independent reading, obviously this is different in the virtual environment. And so this is all going to be happening in the home. And it is a grade level expectation that students are reading a text of their choice for a total of 2 hours over the course of the week. And that is their responsibility to break up over the course of their week. And the way that asynchronous and synchronous days work in language arts, I know Ms. James touched on this. On a synchronous day, we are in Zoom and kids complete the work for the next day. And they are doing that with us on Zoom. And we're giving them feedback verbally through Zoom or messaging. On an asynchronous day, we post videos, and that will have the lesson in it, and they will have to watch those videos and then complete the work. And we are looking at their work as they're completing it. We use an app called ClassKick, where we'll see all of their work in real time. So if it's an asynchronous day in second period, we will go to our second period class and see them typing and doing the lesson in real time. They can raise their hand, they can message us, and we're really able to the only thing that's different is the Zoom. So it's still really active and back and forth. It's just Zoom or not Zoom. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, language arts team. I had an opportunity last year to see some of the presentations on empowerment and disempowerment, and by the time the students really developed their viewpoints and their understanding on that, the work is amazing. They also did some great work on developing the websites for their argumentative, I won't call it an essay because it wasn't that kind of work, but it was really incredible to see them to put together websites. It was fantastic. All right, 8th grade math team.
Hello, I'm Chris Allen. If your student has me for algebra, please know that they'll be getting a letter grade that will appear on their high school transcript. Passing algebra this year opens the door for your student to take geometry next year as a freshman in high school. So far, things have been going really well. We just finished up day 2 of a baseline assessment to see where they are, which is why there isn't too much in the grade book yet. My goal is to get 2 or 3 scores entered for them per week. I'm treating them like high school students, and so far they've been stepping up to the challenge. I encourage you to do the same, to also treat them this way and to let them struggle through the material. That said, I have posted the parent guide and extra practice booklet on my Canvas homepage to assist your student, and there's also instructions next to that that talk about how to create an observer account in Canvas so you can see what's going on. The scope and sequence is also located there. I'm having a great time so far. It's been interesting. Thank you, and I'm looking forward to for it to continue to be a very interesting year. Rob?
Hi, my name is Rob Fernandez. Just a word, Ms. Gueco's not here today, but similar to what Mr. Allen said in terms of high school credit, just remember that geometry is also getting the high school credit as well. But yeah, she was with the 7th grade team today. I teach Math 8, so I teach along with Mr. Romine. He also has a Math 8 class as well. Biggest things to know for Math 8, we're all Canvas based. I sent an email out yesterday kind of about the structure of our daily tasks. I'm hoping to get 2 big tasks in each week, 2 days of support, whether it's one-on-one or small group, and then Friday, just kind of a wrap up, review your knowledge, reflect on your knowledge, kind of summary quiz. As far as materials, I do want everybody to know, they seem to be doing pretty good, but if anybody needs graph paper or a straight edge, please take advantage of those materials days that Ms. James mentioned at the beginning. Graph paper, we do a ton of graphing in Math 8. We are roughly about 70% algebra, and then about 30% Pythagorean theorem, that's a big one, but 30% geometry. So we're really digging deep into those pre-algebra things. That's why I love 8th grade math. We're not really doing the procedural math anymore. We're taking all those things that they've learned over the years, and we're actually putting some applications and interpreting the results. So it's kind of a fun thing. But yeah, that's it. Hoping my goal this year is to, in the distance learning, is just make sure that we're giving them a manageable workload for both them and me, giving them some meaningful work, giving them optimal teacher access to me, and just optimizing accountability and productivity during this time. I'm a parent myself, so I know that's important in keeping your kiddos in line and keeping them moving forward. That being said, sorry, I didn't mean to mention, we are expectations, at least for my class. I don't know if Mr. Romine has gone fully here, but I expect them to be on Zoom every day, even if we're just checking in and then they're doing an asynchronous task. I'm doing manual attendance, so I want them to actively be checking in with me. And we do something similar to ClassKick where we use Desmos and we can actively see them working within their activities. So, but the expectation for math is that they're checking in every day, asynchronous or not synchronous. So that's it.
All right. And the math teachers have been communicating with families at home. All of the students are participating in a diagnostic that we do 3 times a year. It's like a quick temperature check to check on math skills, and it's called iReady. If you'd like to learn more about that, you can contact the math teachers, or there's a link that we've dropped in the chat that has more information on the website. This is not a high stakes test. This is more just where are they, so we can know where precisely we can support them as they move on in learning math. So next, our 8th grade science team.
Hi everybody, I'm Harrison Stein. I'm one of the 8th grade science teachers. I also teach the honors section, which is the first honors science ever, so that's exciting. And then Miss Solis.
I was muted, I was talking to myself. I'm Miss Lise, I'm the other 8th grade science teacher.
So we have 3 big topics we're going to cover this year. We're going to start with astronomy. So currently we're working at seasons. We're about to look at moon phases and eclipses. Second trimester is all about waves. So physical waves, electromagnetic waves, sound waves, all sorts of waves. It's going to get super wavy. And then the third trimester, we're going to look at adaptation. So we'll look at Darwin's finches, we'll look at adaptive radiation, all sorts of really cool things regarding that.
Some important resources for you to know. You've heard a lot about these. Canvas is what we use. Everything that we have in class, all the assignments, it's all in Canvas. We post announcements there. And students should be checking the Canvas daily to see what's going to be going on that day. Gizmos are simulation programs that we use in 8th grade for virtual labs. A lot of the labs that, even if we were in-person learning, a lot of the labs that we would do would be too technical. And so Gizmos allows us to be able to pretend to do these types of labs. And it's pretty interesting. The kids have a good time with them. To get in contact with us, you jumped ahead a little bit, Ms. James. Sorry. To get in contact with us, email is a great way to communicate. Students should check their email, whether it's through in Canvas or their Gmail as well. But my email is on all day, and so that's the easiest way to get in touch with me and Mr. Stein. And so, yeah, that's it. Next.
So we wanted to send this because we want to make sure your students know how to get in touch with us, because things are weird, things can be confusing. It's our first time being digital for this long. So we want you to know that your students can ask us questions on Zoom. We have Zooms pretty much every day. Students can send us messages publicly or privately in Zoom, so they don't have to actually like chat to everybody. They can send us an email. They can send us messages through Canvas. They can log on during individual support before or after school. Our goal, especially during this early stages of remote learning, is to make sure that we're available in whatever way your student feels comfortable communicating.
For daily attendance, form using the link that's that before 3, and by attending Zoom. So like Mr. Stein said, we've got Zoom happening every day. So even for asynchronous days, we haven't had too many of those, but even when we do, we still have Zoom. And you know, when in doubt, have your students email us.
Yeah, so we want to talk a little about what engagement in virtual science class looks like. I don't want to take too much time, so I'll let you read through this, but it's a lot of the things that you would expect if we were in person, chatting at appropriate times, doing the work at appropriate times, discussing in breakout rooms, completing your work, being curious, asking questions. So it actually, a lot of the same things that we do in person are the same things that we're trying to bring to our virtual classroom.
So our philosophy that we've tried to come up with is, you know, science should be fun and it should be hands-on. But of course, right now we recognize that it is difficult, but we are constantly trying to brainstorm different ways to bring some science into the home. And we also feel really strongly that science is for everybody, and that no one is either good or bad at it. And, you know, given enough time, you know, scientific thinking takes time, it takes practice, it's a skill, it's not a trait. And one of the most important things is we work to make sure that we give the students enough time in class to finish their assignments, or almost all the assignments. Whether or not, you know, the students have a hard time right now focusing at home, they're utilizing their time during class. And so we're trying to work with them, giving them more time than we may normally would if we were in person.
And real quickly, our philosophy about homework is homework should be intentional. It should reinforce learning. So students should not be spending much time outside of class on science homework. And there's a lot of research to support this as far as middle level science homework. But the part that sticks out to me is 5 to 10 minutes has the same effect of 1 to 2 hours. So we're going to use homework really intentionally when we do use it. However, don't expect it very often for science.
And, you know, individual support, email questions, that individual support before or after school is an incredible time for students to use, because you can get a lot of stuff done. Mr. Stein and I have our time together. And so it makes, if I explain something to a student, they don't kind of get it, maybe Mr. Stein can explain it in a certain way where they can understand, and vice versa. So students utilizing that individual support is really important.
All right. I want to thank the science team. That was great. I was also a big science fan, and so I don't know if you can see this. This is an app called Sky Guide with the astronomy unit. It's kind of a fun app to be able to go out and actually find a lot of the things that they might be studying in astronomy. So our PE department is next. Give me just a moment and I will get back into our presentation here. All right. Our 7th and 8th grade PE team is Kelsey Machado.
Thanks, Dr. Susan. I'm Dominic Core. I'm the 6th grade PE teacher, but I have the pleasure to introduce our brand new PE teacher who came to us from Western Washington University and Shoreline School District last year, Kelsey Machado.
Hi, it's nice to meet you all. So like they said, I do teach all 7th and 8th graders. So at some point, whether it's this trimester, the next, or spring, your student will have me, and I'm really excited to get to know them. My overall goal with PE, especially while we are online and we're stuck inside and sitting down all day, is for every student to end the trimester with at least 2 physical activities, whatever they may be, that they enjoy, that makes them happy and sparks some joy. We will be covering a really, really large variety of different activities. We'll explore things that they may have not done before, and so I really ask that they come with an open mind. So for 7-8, there's some information on here that's not relevant to us, but our weekly schedule looks like 4 activity days, and then on Wednesday we always do a live Zoom session where we will cover various aspects of physical activity such as heart rate and components of fitness, but later in the trimester we will start talking more about trends in sports and physical activity, such as the rise in female athletics and the 2021 Olympics. With that though, if there are topics you want me to talk about that you've seen that in the news or activities you've heard of that are maybe up and coming, definitely reach out to me, because I love to kind of collaborate with teachers, students, and parents to really provide your students with a broad amount of activities that they could partake in. Everything for our class will always be posted on Canvas. I update it regularly, and I've been really these past couple weeks helping students understand and navigate it. And if you need help navigating it as well, I can definitely help you with that. Also, just really, really quick reminder for those students who are parents and students who are in PE this trimester, I am still looking for a lot of the health history forms. Even though we aren't being active inside the gym together, this is really important for me to know. That way I can be aware of students who may have asthma and are working out at home alone. And then with that, feel free to contact me at any point. I got a couple videos from parents this week already of their student dancing in the living room or doing some exercise, and that really helps bring me joy during those times.
All right, thank you, Mr. Core. Thank you, Ms. Machado. That's really awesome. I love how there's such a strong emphasis on doing the activities, the flexibility of doing activities that people like to do, that bring them joy and help develop those lifelong fitness goals. Our students at Riston have a lot of choices for electives, and we've got a short video presentation from our elective teachers to tell you a little bit more about that. After I hit the play button, if you're not able to hear it, please start waving at the screen. So here we go. There's no sound at the beginning.
Hi, Wisdom families, good evening. My name is Nissa Welchman, and I teach 8th grade Spanish and social studies. Spanish is
Oops, that was me adjusting
for
the volume.
high school credit, which is awesome challenge for students. It also challenges them to acquire a new language and broaden their perspectives and understand more about other cultures and ways of expressing themselves. As for honors social studies, I'm really excited about the inquiry-based approach that is going to require students more critical thinking and build their skills related to navigating our modern world. Hope you
Hi
have
there, my name is Keiko Wilson and I teach Family and Consumer Science at Riston. This trimester I'm teaching Family and Consumer Science A, where we focus on personal finance and cooking. Next trimester I teach Family and Consumer Science B, which kids will be sewing and cooking. And then in the springtime I teach food and nutrition. I really love the content I teach because I feel like it's important for everybody to learn. And I look forward to building relationships with kids and families this
Hey,
year.
Richmond families. I'm Mr. Clark, EDC teacher. EDC stands for Explore, Design, Create. We are a career and technical education course designed to help students learn more about how to be successful both in high school and in a future career. Right now, we're focused on digital media. So all things digital. We're looking at all things digital, from making art, creating sound files, editing sound files, computer programming, and making movies. We've done a lot of amazing things already, and we've got a long way to go. So I'm really excited to see where we go. Please ask your students to see what they've created today. So most of our stuff is on Canvas. If you have any questions, please email me.
Hi, my name is Molly Ewing, and I teach orchestra at Risden to students in grades 6 through 8 who are learning violin, viola, cello, and bass. I think the best part of our program is the community that we build. Many students study orchestra all 3 years that they're at Risden, and so it really gives us a chance to get to know each other well and to work on all different kinds of music and just learn what it takes to become a musician. Thank you for supporting your student as they learn an instrument. It is not always easy and it does require practice, so I appreciate the support that takes at home to get that done. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out and stay tuned for an email coming with some of our standards in our class. So thank you.
Hi, my name is Sarah Lindstrup. I have 2 choirs here at Risden. In choir, we learn to sing as individuals and as a group. Right now, we're learning to sing rounds in our Zoom meetings. Sometimes Zoom meetings are around even when we don't try. We're learning to read music to make us better musicians, and this year we'll be doing lots of listening and individual singing to prepare us for the time when we can sing together again. I look forward to getting to know you and your choir students.
Hey, Risden. This is Joel Ragona speaking, also known as Mr. Ragona. I am the band teacher at Risden. Believe it or not, I am not one of the students. I know that comes as a shock to many of you. Got that nice baby face going. But in all seriousness, I teach 4 different sections of band. That is beginning band, intermediate band, sort of the next step up, as well as the final step, advanced band. We also offer jazz band if your student is extra interested. That is mainly reserved for 7th and 8th graders, but if you are interested, feel free to contact me. We learn pretty much the basics of instruments in our classes. As we get more intermediate and advanced, we obviously increase the difficulties. Many of those things are learning to play together, learning your own instrument, facility, and technique. But some of the non-tangible things that we learn about are a lot of life lessons. That's honestly why I became a teacher, is because I learned so much and it helped me develop as a person, such as goal setting, not procrastinating, practicing regularly, developing good habits. These are all things that we cover through the course of those 3 years. But with that being said, if you do have any questions about anything I've said, I do try and get back to you within 24 hours if possible. So feel free to reach out to me anytime. I am here, and you'll find, hopefully, that band is a lot of fun. So thanks all.
Hi, I'm Mr. Majors. I teach art at Risden Middle School. This trimester in art, we're going to be using pencils, colored pencils, and ink, as well as a variety of digital art tools to make some really neat art this year. If you want to reach me, the easiest way to do that is at my school email address. It is andrew.majors@rentonschools.us. I'm looking forward to seeing all the great art that we make this year. I look forward to hearing from you.
Hi, everyone. Mr. Ball here. The elective classes I teach here at Risden are drama, world events, and intro to leadership. And I also direct productions for the After School Drama Club. I love teaching drama, even this challenging time for us to be doing it virtually. Kids have been pretty shy so far, but they're really starting to warm up to each other and seem to appreciate just having the time to socialize with other people their age. Same for world events and leadership. We're going to be doing a lot of group projects in those classes, so working in breakout rooms, and kids seem to appreciate just being able to socialize, even if it's on school, with other people their age. So I'm looking forward to having all your students in my classes this trimester.
Everyone, my name is Lachlan Willis, and I teach the Leadership 2 class here at Risden. It's made up of 7th and 8th graders who have completed the first leadership class, and this year we're going to be focusing on making sure that we build community at Risden as we're going forward. Please make sure that you note that we are going to be running ASB elections for ASB President, Vice President, Secretary, and Treasurer, as well as 6th grade and 7th grade rep.
Hi, Risden families. My name is Mrs. Storr, and I teach yearbook. The yearbook staff has a huge job ahead of us this year, trying to put a yearbook together when we're experiencing distance learning, and we're not quite sure how long distance learning is going to take place. If your student is on our yearbook staff, they're going to work on journalistic writing skills, photo editing, page setup and design, and lots of other college and career readiness standards. If your student is not on yearbook, still be on the lookout for announcements from us about ways that you can submit photos so that your student is still included in our Risden yearbook. We can't wait to document this unique year.
All right. I want to thank all of our excellent career, I was going to call them career and technical education teachers, which is what they are at high school. Here at the middle school, we have some great programs here. Our technology teacher, Mr. Steve Clark, when we are in class or back in the building, we're able to do robotics club, and they've won awards and beat out some of the high school groups. Our musical groups have competed at some of the solo and ensemble competitions, and also are award-winning. Check out our YouTube channel, and you'll see a great video from our choirs last year combined with McKnight. They did a very nice presentation. Our art that students make is around our building, so we're very, very proud of those programs and can't wait till we're back in the building.
Hello, future Risden Timberwolves. My name is Selena G. Groot, and I am one of
You can pause if you want to. That was just some.
And we're going to talk to you a little bit today about
it's
some
almost
special
done.
education programs.
Is it?
The programs that we offer at
I don't think so.
Okay, so I will
Here we
move on.
go.
So here is the special education team. Go ahead, Mr. Groot, or whomever.
Yeah. My name is Misty Groot, and I am one of the ILC teachers here at Risden.
Hello, I am Rochelle Secaucus. I am the school psychologist here at Risden.
And hello again, I am Teresa Hundelt, and I'm one of the resource special education teachers, and I also work in co-taught. You can see the rest of our team here. Melinda Snyder, Heidi Renato, Steven Svensson, Corey Donahue, Emily Kramer, and Ellison Armentrotter are our speech and language pathologists. And then Laura DeLu is our special education clerical. And she is the one who will be reaching out to schedule meetings with families. Next slide.
So as you can see, we had quite a few staff members in part of our special education department. I won't take too long to go into a lot of depth about each program, but I did want to give you guys a rundown of our continuum of services, starting with our least restrictive environment for learning. We have some special education students in the general education setting. They are working on general education content, and the general education teachers can be providing modifications and accommodations where the special education teacher can just check in periodically, see how they're doing. Our next environment is we have a co-taught setting. So we have math and language arts classes, and there are 2 teachers in those classes. There's the special education teacher, and there's also the general education teacher. And they are also learning the general education content, and they're also supported by accommodations and modifications with the special education teacher in that classroom with them. Next, we have a resource setting. So this is a smaller class setting. They have some more paraeducator support. There's also modified curriculum in this setting, and they go at a slower pace
for the students where they can get some repetition of skills. And we also have our self-contained classroom. And so this is even a smaller setting, focusing on life skills as well as some academic content.
For annual IEP meetings, a point of contact will be, again, Laura. She'll help you get connected to your student's case manager. She'll coordinate dates and times that work for you for meetings, and those meetings will be held virtually using Google Meets, but you have the choice of participating either through video or on your phone.
Okay, so for our students that do currently qualify for special education services, every year we reevaluate, or excuse me, every 3 years we reevaluate. A lot of the time it does require some in-person assessment, but obviously right now it's a little harder. I can't walk down the hall and go work with your kids. So what the teams are going to be doing is going through the all the students' files that have reevals coming up due this year, and we're going to look to see if we really need that in-person assessment or if we can use data that we're already collecting, like through iReady or progress towards our IEP goals. If we need rating skills, that's great because we can do all of those digitally. But if we really feel like some in-person assessment is needed, whether that's to assess academic skills or cognitive functioning, then that's something that I'll work with you on. We'll schedule up sessions, and we'll go through the health screening that all the staff are going through every day when they go into the building. And then during the testing, we have a variety of safety precautions. I use a plexiglass barrier between the student and I. We're wearing masks the whole time, and we stay as far away from each other as we can while still being able to interact and work together. Again, meetings will be held virtually. You can video or phone call in, and we'll do our best to combine those with any IEP meetings so you can just come to one. And at any point, if you have questions about that, please feel free to reach out to me, and I will do my best to answer those questions.
So part of our special education team is the speech and language pathologists. This year we have 2. We have Miss Kramer. She got married last year, and so was formerly Miss Zimmerman, and she works with the population of our students. And we have Miss Trout is what she goes by for the students, and she also serves a smaller population as she splits her time in another building. They have a little thing down here for you. If your student does not receive services, or if you're concerned about their speech, or just have any general questions for them, you can email Miss Kramer down there, and her email is down below.
And then the last thing is just make sure to review Skyward with your student. They know how to log in. They should be able to show you their grades, their missing assignments, and their attendance. Reach out to specific teachers with questions, but you're always welcome to loop in the case manager and the counselor or administrator as needed. And then we've already talked a lot about those individual support times. Please take advantage. Those are great opportunities to clear up any confusion or get extra support. And that's it.
All right. And we've dropped this link to our form if you have questions for your students' individual teachers in the chat a few different times. Please reach out if you have any questions for your student's teacher. We would like to be able to help you help your student and support them as best they can. This is a very challenging time for students, and we realize that too. It's hard to be separated from friends, and it's hard to be separated from your teachers as you're trying to learn. So please feel free to reach out with questions. Let us know what you need, and we'll try and give you all the support we can. Having said that, Mr. Cooper, are you still over there? Can you take off your hard hat and sunglasses and join us?
I'm here.
All right. So we're wrapping up. I don't know if we have time for questions, or are we calling it an evening?
I would encourage parents to submit questions or any comments in the chat. I got a couple compliments while we were sharing, so if there's any parents that also want to share those out, I think teachers always love hearing compliments, of course, as well. This is called wait time. It's that awkward silence where no one's talking, right? Okay, so I see a question. So if you do have any questions about your students' classes, in terms of any kind of concern or a schedule change request or anything like that, reach out to Sharon Jones. She's our registrar. Her email address is sharon.jones, so SHARON. I could put it in the chat. But she can assist with looking at options or just talking through any questions that you might have regarding that. There, it's in the chat. Okay, well, it is that time, so I think we should call it a night and let everybody get some rest for tomorrow. Staff and parents and families, thank you so much for being here tonight. Staff, I am going to send an email out tonight to thank you and just mention one quick thing about tomorrow, so just have a heads up about that. But again, families, as you sign off, if you think of anything along the way, please reach out. We're here for you and your students. And we just want to have a great year. We know this is a strange year and it's not the way that any of us would want it to be. So we're trying to make the most of it, trying to do the best we can. And if you have ideas or suggestions along the way, please don't hesitate to give us a call or shoot us an email and just stay in touch. So with that, everybody have a great night.